Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, my impact review. I've been thinking about this for at least a couple of months, about what's going to happen with Spike TV dealing with TNA. And seeing this particular episode, and you see the title before, Is It Too Little Too Late? Now, doesn't mean that's talking about Spike, because we really don't know if they're going to be fully renegotiating, unless you already know, and I don't. So you can tell me below if Spike has fully renegotiated with TNA. But as far as I know, it's at nearing the end of the year when they're no longer going to be together. There is no more contract. But the ending of the show is where it's going to be for this title. Is it too little too late? Now, what made this show so lively, that made it good to a very strong degree, is the fans. The crowd is what made this show better. It wasn't just the content. I'm sorry, you can say whatever you want about the content, you can say about the wrestling matches, you can say about the interviews because there's several of them, you can say about the ring segments. Some of them were very good, but the fans is what made this, and I believe that's what TNA was going for. But is it too little too late for what they did at the end of the show? So let's get into it. When it comes to Abyss and Bram, it was... I've seen the Monsters Ball match more than a few times. And the problem here is Abyss is long in the tooth right now. He's been around for a while. And like Kane, instead of being well constructed and built, at one point he was with Joseph Park, they didn't implement the ending of it properly. So Joseph Park became a joke. Like Kane did. And now a Monsters Ball match makes me think of Kane with a fire match or an infernal match. If it's done constantly, it just feels irrelevant. But I can't say it wasn't an alright match. It was a basic average Monsters Ball match, which doesn't mean it's all 100% bad. In the end, Bram won, and this makes me think of something. I know Bram does not have the size of the Abyss. I know Bram has not been constructed like Abyss as a monster, as a type of Frankenstein monster that's impervious to anything. But Bram has been constructed well enough to be considered so violent and sadistic in certain points that him taking away Janice from the Abyss actually was the wise thing to do. In fact, I feel almost to a certain extent, not fully, that this is a torch being passed from Abyss to Bram. Bram won't be Abyss. He doesn't have the size, he doesn't have the credentials in that respect. But he does have this sadistic, violent nature that he just wants to fight so badly, and he doesn't care what happens, that you could say a small portion of the Abyss's legacy can be passed to Bram. I wouldn't mind seeing Bram hold on to Janice for quite a while, because I know they're going to still have the feud. But in the end, when it's finally broken away, let Bram keep Janice for a little while before he finally lets it all go. And that's how I feel about it. You guys can tell me below. Next, Bromance versus Gunnar, Anderson, and Shaw. Now, they're still promoting Anderson and Gunnar having severe friction between each other because of, well, Samuel Shaw, the creepy bastard who lives in the basement, who has a sexy hot mom that you want to just bend her ass over and screw to death. I'm sorry, you do. Him getting angry is understandable. Here's the question. You can see, at least to me, that Gunnar is getting very frustrated. And in the end, with the match, Bromance wins. Anderson gets frustrated enough to try and beat and knock the head off of Samuel Shaw, and Gunnar breaks him up. In the back, I thought was very good. It was Shaw who separated them, and Shaw took the heat for it even though he didn't need to. So the question for me is, do you actually believe Anderson is going to turn heel, or you think he's going to stay face? Because I believe Anderson being the way he is, he's not a heel. He's not. But seeing Gunnar getting so frustrated actually makes me feel like they're going to turn him back into a heel again. And under this situation, he won't be a heel like an ordinary one that he just doesn't give a damn. He's doing it because he just wants his friend to have a fair shot at things. And this is how I believe this is going to start. You guys tell me below how you feel about that. Now, when it comes to the video interviews, Sonata and Storm's I felt was the best out of the lot. It was very well done. I felt that seeing Sonata being so subservient to Storm, that something more interesting is going to happen later. That's if they pull the trigger on it because of the short amount of time they have with their contract. I hope they do, because this will make very good television. When it comes to Robert Roode dealing with MVP and Lashley, I felt was very good. I believe that in that entire segment, which, oh my goodness, the girl that's in white, she was gorgeous. Oh, I mean, the other women look good, don't get me wrong, but the one in white just, oh, she's the type of girl you want to marry. She looks so damn good. But it was good to see them come out with women. I always said that when it came to Kenny King, baby. He should have been having women under his arm as he came out to the ring anyway. The only problem with Kenny King, he's skipping along like an idiot. He needs to drop that shit. You're supposed to be a king of a night. You're not supposed to be a little kid in a playground. Come on, Kenny King. Stop doing the fucking skipping. You're a man, not a boy. But in the end, I felt Robert Roode really made that segment work. Getting the beatdown was fine. Seeing a Austin Aries and Eli come out is fine. I didn't have a problem with it all. And I really felt that Roode made it very good. The last interview between Joe and Loki was okay. But the thing that got me shocked, I haven't heard Loki talk often. Very rarely I've ever heard him talk. The man has a deep-ass voice. It looks like he should be 10 times bigger than he is. His voice is so deep. He feels like he should be 6'8", 400 pounds, a monster. That's how deep his voice is. Hell, he should go into broadcasting with that type of voice. And I did enjoy that. And when it came to the X Division match between Loki, I'll say this. It was not the bad match of the night. It actually was the best back match I felt for the entire show. All the matches were average, but that was better than average. And I felt seeing Storm come out and forcing Sonata to bow was very good. But I gotta say this. Seeing Joe win that belt, kind of, I'm not sure it was the right decision to make. I felt that Sonata might have been a better match with that belt because of what's going on with Storm. But it's going to count on what's going to happen next week. If something really interesting happens, then I can look past it. But if they don't do anything with Sonata and Storm properly, then I'm going to say, well, he should have had the belt. I enjoyed that match, and I do believe that if Sonata has nothing going on, he needs that belt. Now, might as well get it over with. The Hardcore War match with the EC of old versus the Dixie Chicks. I'm saying it, I'm sorry. This wasn't a bad match. And the one thing I did enjoy about it was Al Snow coming back with Head. It was nice to see them give people in the well, it's not something they wouldn't do, but it is nice to see. Seeing the entire crowd in the first 5 rows have Head. A foam head. In the end, the ECW of old won, but even though the crowd made it good, I really didn't care that much because this was so heavy. For the last 3 weeks, they've been promoting ECW heavily, and I want to see more of TNA, and that's what kind of skewed it for me. The crowd kept dealing ECW, of course they're going to, because you got more than. Look, I know that Ezekiel Jackson had the ECW, the WWE's ECW championship, and almost most of the people in there had the title themselves from the original ECW, so that was all ECW. And it wasn't 100% a bad match, but it's been so oversaturated with ECW, I just kind of tired of it. So, let's move on to the knockout segment. with all 4 of the current knockouts that are shown right now. I still say this about Angelina Love. At certain angles, she just looks so damn gorgeous. And other angles, she just, huh? There's just something, I don't know what it is. I can't say she's ugly at different angles because she's not an ugly woman. But there's just certain angles that she just gives off this look like, huh? I don't know what it is. But in the end, what do we get? Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Gail Kim, and Terrence Terrell going after the title next week in the Fatal 4-Way. Was the segment good? It wasn't that bad. I felt that Gail Kim felt a little choppy. And now they're trying to do some level of dissension between Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, which actually I think is the right thing to do because it's time to break up the beautiful people. They've been together too long now. So I'm alright with it. In the end, we now must focus on the last thing of the night. And that is the ending of Dixie Carter, supposedly. Having King Mo there now makes me think King Mo versus Tommy Dreamer? Because King Mo knocked the shit out of Tommy Dreamer. And then King Mo got his ass kicked by a Bully Ray. In the end, everyone got their ass kicked except for Rockstar Spud, who fainted when the entire roster came down. Oh, that was stupid, but it was funny with Rockstar Spud. But when it comes to Dixie, she went through with the actual thing. They pulled the trigger with Dixie Carter. Bully Ray, well, actually, she never really went through the table. Bully Ray's ass went through the damn table. She didn't get the feeling of the table through her. She got her back in the mat. But what does this give us? Does it give it closure? No. It'd probably be a couple of weeks before we see Dixie Carter come back. I believe that. I don't think she's going to be gone permanently. I just believe that she's going to be gone for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe she'll have some whiplash. Maybe she'll be in a wheelchair. And then they're going to go from there. But was it the right time to do this? Honestly, no. I really believe they could have done this 2 months ago on Slammiversary. At that time, it was really hot with everybody, not just the New York City crowd that I am a part of, baby. But the problem here is this, ladies and gentlemen. As much as everyone still loved the ECW guys, and I don't hate them, I do like them. Bully Ray and Devon are not that bad. Seeing Al Snow was great. I did like seeing him in the ring. But the problem is that it was hotter somewhere else where it wasn't a New York City or Pennsylvania crowd in a sense. Or Philly crowd, for that matter. It was somewhere else, and they were really into it, and I felt they had way better momentum than it did here. And they could have done the powerbomb then, and it would have been over, and we could have had some other type of progression. But they decided to do it here in New York because they thought they would get the most loudest pops they could think of. They thought because he's from New York, they're trying to make a really great impression with the 6-sided ring because they hadn't had it back then. I will say that it was understandable why they did it that way. They just implemented the 6-sided ring. They brought the ECW guys to try and promote it, to say that we're much more innovative. I can understand it. But I really believe they could have done it better while it was still the 4-sided ring at Slammiversary. I really do. I really do believe it would have been better off then. But I won't say the crowd wasn't good. And like I said in the beginning of this review, the crowd is what made the show. More than what happened in the ring, more than the video segments, more than the interviews, more than the commentary. The crowd is what made this. So how do I feel about the show? I feel the crowd made the show good. Very good. But the show felt average. Of course, seeing Dixie get bombed through the mat and her boobs bounce everywhere wasn't that bad, but it doesn't mean it was the right time. So I hope you enjoyed this Zane's view. Please give me a comment below. Tell me what you feel about Too Little Too Late. Do you believe that this was the right time to do this, or they could have done it at Slammiversary? And with this, also tell me, do you believe that this will promote Spike to renegotiate the contract if they have not done it yet? Have a good day. See ya!